Welcome friends, Paul here, and welcome if you're new to the channel. Tonight I'm talking about my pocket-size sketchbooks that I pretty much take everywhere. I really like the 4x6 size in an off-white or slightly cream color paper. Strathmore's 400 series makes a really good book. And mostly what I use as far as a process with these sketchbooks is a number 2 pencil. The Ticonderoga have the best erasers, as do the Papermate Murado Classics. But if not, these high polymer Pentel erasers are really good to put on the ends of your cap. And for inking, I'm really into this kind of process lately. I use a Jinyao Chinese fountain pen with Koh-i-Noor fountain pen ink and sometimes Higgins India fountain pen ink it's called. So that's exactly what I did here in this process, practicing little bunny rabbits and trees. The Strathmore paper, I love the color of it. It's got a very nice tooth. And I do like drawing faces and people and stuff. Again, this is all done with that fountain pen that I just showed you. And I do quite a bit of stuff like this. Always go, if you're into the ink like I am, always go with at least 80-pound paper, okay? This is 80-pound, this is 80-pound. This mixed media stuff is 90-pound. I'm not as crazy about the 300 series because it's really white. Actually, this is in that book. This is done in ballpoint pen. Yep, if you didn't know about that, ballpoint makes a great sketching medium. Check out these Bic Cristal 1.6 millimeter. You got to get that. They're very hard to get. I got to order them because they have a fatter diameter, and I can really layer in the pigment. Did you know ballpoint pens are oil-based? That's right, so you can really layer it up from very fine light tones right up through the very thick. The pigment does not saturate the paper though with the ballpoint, rather it lies on top of the paper. And here's another street scene I did like that. Same thing with the ballpoint. I like how this little drawing came out. I did this with a General's number 8 pencil, very soft, and sometimes I'll just take this one tool right here. General's number 8 pencil with a Pentel cap on it because there are no erasers on those. And these work great. And I always have a little sharpener or a keychain knife. I have a small little Spyderco keychain knife that I use for a lot of stuff. So I always have a blade with me to sharpen. But you can see you can really have so much variety in tone with that number 8 pencil. And it works up just a beautiful little drawing just on its own with this one thing. I think I did this with a Micron pen, which is this kind of guy right here. And I love pens, very fine tip. And you can also do this kind of stuff with rollerball. That's another great medium. You know, to get into the disposable pens, that's a whole other thing. Like the Pigma Graphic 1 pen. These are amazing pens. Sensei, Pigma Sensei is another one that I use. These are great pens. You know, pens run out of ink at the least opportune moments. They're expensive, or it can get expensive. That's why I'm really partial to the fountain pen. And plus, I just like the mojo of taking care of a fountain pen and filling the inkwell with ink, and I just really like that. But I do love my pens. These Tombow brush pens in particular are really great. And there's a Spanish artist named Borch. His real name eludes me at the moment. I'll put a link to his stuff in the description below. I love his artwork, and he uses these brush pens, which are actually water soluble. You can blend them, and I can show you with those brush pens like I was just showing you. Here's something I did in a church the other day with the Tombow pens. And you can just see you can get some very, very nice effects, and they come in the full range of colors. So it's really almost like painting on the go. I drew this dude at a bus stop when I was in the library that day. This is another great book I scored recently. It's made by Handbook Paper Company. Never heard of it. It's 80 pound. It's very similar to the Strathmore drawing. This has 24 sheets, and the Handbook one has 30 sheets, so it's slightly more sheets. I really like it. I also really like this Handbook one. Well, actually, both of these have a nice stiff cover in the back for supporting your work. That's something really to consider as you're getting into something portable, convenient to stick in your coat pocket or your backpack. You know, does it have a good support that when you're out drawing, sketching, it's very easy to use, very convenient. This is with that process again with the number 2 pencil and the fountain pen. This stuff's out of my imagination. People will ask me, where's that from? Well, it's just out of my head. I like the effect of this. This is kind of reminiscent of someone I really like, Noel Sickles, an illustrator from the 30s, 40s, 50s, using kind of a wash. In this, it's just a graphite kind of streaking that I would have smudged and then gone over that with the fountain pen. You know, this is an interesting topic. When you've got a really good drawing in pencil, oftentimes I've gone over, say like a drawing like this right here with the fountain pen or with any other of the pens that I showed, and essentially kind of ruin the drawing. You want to watch out for that. And I was talking with a professional artist friend of mine, a painter, who, when I did something over Christmas, actually, I did this over the Christmas season, this ink drawing, actually done with a combination of fountain pen and India ink with the brush. And originally it was a graphite drawing here, as I'll show the image right here of the graphite drawing. And I'm glad I took a picture of it as graphite, because as you can see here now, it's altered forever. And while I like the way this turned out, I kind of wish I had kept the original graphite drawing and then done this as a second study in ink. And my professional artist friend advised me, actually, as I was doing this, no, why don't you do another one in ink? Well, I didn't take the advice and I just inked over it. And that's why I've learned that lesson now, like with this drawing, that I really like. It's got some neat things going on in it. And I really want to ink it because I want to ink everything, most everything. And instead, I'm just going to let it be. And if I want to explore this topic again, you know, as she pointed out to me, you know, artists are constantly redoing studies. And it's true when you look at the greats. They're always doing little studies of larger work. Kind of a more sparse style there. It still captures the mood of this scene, basically. Studying books and trying to get better at that. Here's a large sheet of paper of stuff that I do. Sometimes I'll just do this. And these are just people from my imagination, but kind of in the, actually a lot of these I study a lot of the comics I like by Noel Sickles or John Buscema and things like that, people like that. So I go over and try to get better at this stuff, or just drawing different body parts. Different expressions on people, and always considering kind of the light source, like where the light's coming from too. Little scraps of paper that I have around, and I'll try different techniques, like making this drawing just with linear lines, for example, just indicating kind of like a scene through the mist or something, or smoke from a chimney there. These could be on the back of bills or stuff laying on the kitchen table or whatever. I would have done this, I can tell right away, with that number 8 pencil. See the nice dark values in there? I seem to draw a lot of like camping, kind of back to the woods, kind of minimal living kind of scenes. That stuff seems to capture my imagination quite a bit. Something I did out in the woods last winter, just of a winter birch tree. I actually use a wash in there. I can see that. You know, you can actually go in and use a damp brush and really blend in that stuff, which reminds me that another medium that's really good to use are the charcoal pencils. I got a whole bag of General's charcoal pencils here and smudge sticks. I like the medium and the soft values. You really get the darkest values, even darker with graphite, without the graphite sheen, using charcoal pencil. It is a little messy and it smudges quite a bit. Just something to be aware of. Maybe put in some wax paper in between the sheets in your backpack. But man, it really pays off to use that medium. Here's a graphite pencil on a different pad of paper. This is a slightly larger profile. This is called Bianfang. Actually, it sounds German, but it's made in Canada. This is 90-pound paper, 5.5 by 8.5 size, a little big for my pocket, but I definitely stick this in the backpack quite a bit. And just a graphite drawing of a friend. And another one I did at a local coffee shop, which has since closed, but did this obviously in the summertime with a dude wearing shorts. Again, I would have done this all with that number 8 pencil. So here's a tree that was in some water, and I just touched this up a little bit with like the Tombow brush pens you can see there with the gray values. I retitled my channel Green Man after a mask that I made, a nature mask on this channel. So I was drawing this man again with the fountain pen. Started off with pencil, then fountain pen, with vegetation emerging from his head, and I drew his female counterpart down here. I kind of like her. I should fix the mouth, but she's kind of fun. This is just something I drew actually yesterday. This image has been in my head for a while about an uprooted tree, like a bleached tree on the shore. You see gets washed up on the shore like a mighty oak or something. I also have this thicker wire-bound Pentalic book. A little too big for pocket carry, but it sits by my bed and it doubles as a journal. Actually, journaling and sketchbooks go very well together. Coinciding with this drawing, this is my most recent sketch that I've done in any of my little books. Worked up again with the number 2 pencil initially, and then I've gone over it in a couple different sessions with the fountain pen. And I really like the way she's taken shape. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tour through my pocket-sized sketchbooks and the different mediums I use, particularly the pencils and the fountain pens, ink pens, as well as just a little bit of the charcoal pencils. Please post your comments below about what you like to use when you're out in the field sketching, your favorite papers, your favorite mediums, and if you'd like, feel free to post links to your artwork, especially your drawings and sketches that we could check out. That would be really great.